Chapter 22, Lawnmower Guy. Well, as fate would have it, a few days later, maybe it was a couple weeks later, Olga would get her rocks off at the expense of Don, the lawnmower guy. Don was old now. He had just turned 92 and became easy prey for Olga, a convenient sacrificial lamb, so to speak, satisfying Olga's thirst for blood and fortune, taking her mind off Paul momentarily. What a pleasant surprise. Don, Mr. Lawnmower Guy, ex-Air Force, ended his illustrious career during the Second World War as a B-17 ball turret gunner. He was wounded and busted his eardrums during a huge air fight. It was reported Don fired so many rounds that day the heat warped the barrel and blistered his hands severely. Ears bleeding too. Thanks for your service, Don. You're a hero. He made it back home and put his skills to driving a logging truck. He was forced to retire after 20 years on the job for smacking, that means punching, the foreman, the boss's son, after hours in the bar. Don didn't take no shit. He had quite the temper, never any of trouble on the job. So the board gave him full benefits. You can't fire a war hero. So Don had plenty of money with his benefit checks from driving truck. He was especially proud of his gold retirement watch and war bonds thanks to Uncle Sam. His house all paid for. His safe full of cash he had saved through the years. He didn't believe in banks for a lot of reasons. Kids all raised and moved to the city to raise their kids, etc. So him and Carol, his wife, started a very successful lawn mowing business. Though not in it for the dough. Partners to the end, Carol kept the books and wrote the checks. Don mowed. He loved his top-of-the-line deluxe John Deere. He had two of them, a big one and a smaller one, so dependable. Both Don and Carol had their place and special purpose at the former round table. Before Pearl and Olga, and those were the good old days. Loved the local gossip, not the judgmental kind, and wouldn't talk politics or religion, or how much they made living the good life. Carol, a natural blonde, pretty in her day, lots of charisma, liked playing pull tabs, didn't win much, didn't lose much neither, drank amarettos on ice. Don drank anything but always started with a pale ale on tap. Somewhat of a pool shark, like my big brother Jim. Played for drinks, never for money, per se, was known to duff a few shots, meaning miss a few, so he could buy a round or two for the boys. Both Don and Carol extremely kind people, good tippers too, except to Olga, never saying why. After Carol died, 2 years, 8 months, 7 days, 10 hours, and 37 minutes ago, Don stopped drinking and going out. It just wasn't fun anymore. 2 prescriptions drugs. I think Xanax was one of them. I'll bet Olga knows. He carried several different pill bottles with him. I guess just sometimes to get him through the day and something to sleep at night. He liked Valiums. They calmed him down. If the script dose said take 1, he took 2 or 3, sometimes forgetting he took them at all and would take them again. Hey, he's 92, 2 years older than Carol would be. No longer in a hurry to get any place, Don parked his Lincoln in the garage and drives his John Deere lawnmower wherever he goes. Most people only know Don as the lawnmower guy. People see him all over Antler and surrounding area. Sometimes he engages the blade and mows the grass on the side of the road as he moves his way down the street, waving as he goes. Don has said after 65 years of marriage, I got no to-do list. You have to fill your day up with something, and I love riding my John Deere. All that being said, this is how the lawnmower guy got himself into trouble. Don, one morning on his way to his usual breakfast stop at the Nooner, Don drives his lawnmower right through the glass front door at the nooner. Oops, accidents happen. I guess he misjudged it a bit. The noise caught the ear of Olga sitting in her lair. She zooms in and turns the volume up and takes a hit. Olga thinking twice in 1 month. Her nostrils flared. I'll make the old bastard pay full retail to cover the cost of the laundromat, too. The bell dinged and stopped after it hit the ground. If only Don would have kept his lips shut about how much cash he had in his safe at home, claiming he could buy the whole place with cash, rambling on some like an old man being ridiculed, hiding his embarrassment with brags of this and that, and talking cash, sparking Olga's interest. She always liked his gold watch she spotted on his wrist while on Zoomland strolling the bar. This is how it went down. Olga, a seasoned killer, puts together a foolproof plan. Uh-oh. Olga tingled. Olga had known Don for years and didn't think he had a pot to piss in, especially since Carol, the Amaretto bitch, and shitty tipper died. Who drives around on a lawnmower? Olga puts on her Liz Taylor wig and strolls in the back door through the kitchen. She lays it on thick for all to hear. What a performance. Olga says, acting surprised, "Oh my gosh, what happened to my front door? Is anybody hurt? Why, isn't that Don's lawnmower?" Olga heads towards Don just outside her fallen glass door, pounding on the fender of his ride with a rubber mallet. Here it comes. Olga seems so sincere. I almost believe her. Well, almost. Olga doesn't believe in God or any of that stuff. Olga says, "Oh my God, Don, are you okay?" Don doesn't hear at first because of his broken eardrums and old age. But what really matters is, at their amazement, the rest of the crowd there did hear her. What a show of kindness, compassion, and caring. Olga gently grabs Don, a little confused, and leads him into the end of the bar and sits him down, repeating for all to hear, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" Olga tells the bartender to get Don a coffee and a glass of water, knowing he takes his pills when he drinks his coffee, setting his pill bottles on the bar while he does. Olga continues by saying, "Don, that door is all custom-made and very expensive installed. Somewhere around $3,000. I'll get it as cheap as I can. If you don't have the money, don't worry, we can work out easy payments." Don says, "I'll cover everything in cash." Olga tells Don, raising her voice, "I'm so glad you're okay. You take care of yourself, Don. I got a couple guys that fix all my stuff. I'll call you or just come by when you can. Oh, Don, before you go, did you take your pills?" Don answers, "No, I don't think I did." Don takes a couple more, a little wobbly. He heads to his ride. Olga follows him out the side door. Don sits on his lawnmower, turning the key. It starts right up. No real damage done. Don stashes his mallet under the seat. Olga leans into Don's face, looks him dead in the eyes, and whispers with a serpent's hiss. Olga tells Don, "My guys only accept cash. I hope you get the cash to pay." Don quickly replies, "I got cash in my safe, lots of cash." Uh-oh. Olga smiles, but not so you'd notice. Her blood cold, heating up, feeling the rush of the kill, looking forward to adding Don's watch to her shrine, Don's shiny gold watch. Don goes his merry way. Today is his day to go to the drugstore in Morton, the next town over, some 30 miles away, 10 hours by lawnmower round trip. He likes to stop at the Elkie and have a cup and take his pills. And today he's got a lot to talk about. Olga is so nice. Meanwhile, back at the nooner, the talk going round was, "What's up with Olga?" That didn't sound like her at all. That seemed more like Pearl, as everyone remembers Pearl's kindness and giving nature. Imagine after all these years when the locals talk about kindness, Pearl's name still comes up, with a smile, of course. Whatever happened to Pearl? No one knew. Olga goes the back way up the stairs to her place, fires up a bowl, and tunes into the gossip that spreads like butter. This story made it to the Elkie before dawn. Olga's performance, award-worthy, seemingly plagiarized from Pearl's sincere demeanor. But the crowd bought it, so she was pleased. After the door was installed, Olga calls Don, her plan somewhat devious. First, she would wait for Donny Boy to come back in on his own. It would be a couple days or so. Don was known for being unscheduled. When she sees him walk in, Olga sashays by just by accident, smelling like lilies of the field, dressed very businesslike, wearing her Ida Lupino wig, an old-time actress. She was really feeling it, and you could tell Olga was filled up with power. It felt good, or should I say bad. Olga walks around Dawn sitting at the end of the bar, refills Dawn's cup, grabs her mug marked with a big O in permanent marker, pours her a Jack and a coffee. It's never too early for Jack. Before her second gulp, Dawn asked her how much he owed her. He could pay her cash today if she could just follow him home. He didn't like carrying that much cash, and so he didn't have to come back. He had other plans. Olga purred. Olga says, "Of course, Don. Did you take your pills?" "Oh, I forgot," Don said. Olga fills his water glass down, pounds down a couple of pills. Ooh-wee, things are really working out, Olga thought. Don gives her the nod. He was ready to go. He waves goodbye to those gathered there. The bell dinged. This would be the last time Don would sit at the end of the bar. Needless to say, Olga is going to get there first. She sees Don's lawnmower stop at Suver's Market. Olga pulls her caddy in Don's long circle-round driveway, designed for his big rig to turn around in. She goes all the way around and waits by the road. The rush is on. It wouldn't be long now. The fate in wait lights up a Virginia Slim cigarette, leaving her pipe at home. I guess you don't bring your pipe to a murder. That's a treat saved for after. Don's front door is unlocked. Olga walks in and lights up another Slim, and then another. Finally, there he is. She sprays Lily of the field in the air to disguise the smell of smoke. Don didn't smoke. Don walks in smiling. He likes the smell of Lily of the Fields, reminding him of Carol for a moment, if only it could be. Olga opens the bathroom door and walks out, responding with, "Oh, hi, Don. I hope you don't mind. I really had to go." Don comes back with, "No, of course not." When Olga sees all that money and that they're safe, just as Don had boasted, ooh-wee, she creeps up behind him, pulling up her gloves along the way. With the force of a killer, natural born or not, she grabs poor Donny Boy, now 95, by the forehead with her left hand and pulls him back towards her, his mouth wide open as he stumbles some. With her other hand, she whips around her little hamster feeder bottle. Though she had no hamster, she had especially prepared the bottle for Don, full of liquid Xanax. Olga gives Don a big long squirt in his open mouth and pinches his nose. Quite effective, I must say. Don gulps, gasps, and swallows. His knees buckle. On his way down, Olga slams his head into the wood-burning stove, all aglow from the heat. Don's blood sizzles on the stove. That should just about do it. A murderous mist lingers. Olga's eyes roll and her eyelashes flutter. This is the fun part. Don squirms a bit, grunts and groans, the gash on his head bleeding profusely. He's out, but not gone. He moans and twitches, music to Olga's ears. Who needs sex? Ooh-wee. That's a lot of cash. To the victor goes the spoils. She stashes the cash in her handbag. Olga grabs Dawn's watch as she fires up a slim. Before she finishes her slim, Dawn lays still. Hi, Carol. I've missed you. Olga sticks around a bit, savoring the moment, tidies up, and then heads to the nooner. Olga shows her face briefly at the nooner, covering her ass. She walks in, praising Dawn, telling the staff when Dawn comes in, everything is on the house, not explaining why. Let them speculate. And they did. It's the new Olga. Go figure. She hurries through in her humbleness. She has to stash her cash and clean up. Dawn's retirement watch takes his place in Olga's shrine. Oh, yeah. Well, wouldn't you just know it? Paul would be the one to find Dawn in a state of decay. Though Dawn was ripe smelling, there was a scent of some sort of flowers, perhaps lilies. Paul, very carefully not to disturb the scene, he says his goodbyes to his old buddy Dawn, suspecting no foul play. Dawn was old. With the safe closed and a few dollars in his hand, along with the spilled bottle of Xanax on the countertop in the kitchen next to a glass of water, one could only guess maybe he had a heart attack or something. Paul makes the 911 call and notices Dawn's watch isn't on his wrist. He tells dispatch there's no emergency. He was reporting the death of his buddy. He didn't touch anything but the doorknob. Everything is just how he found it. Call me if you need me. I'm going to the nooner. I'll get in touch with the family. Paul shaken a bit, but not stirred. Dawn and Paul had been buddies since Paul was a kid just getting started in logging. The bell dinged. Paul has the new full-time bartender pour him a double. It was Dallas, but she had changed. She had her Dolly Parton boob job, and she was looking good, flaunting her dollies, smiling big like her boobs, friendly and sexy looking. Olga walks by Paul, but says nothing. If she did, it would be, "You're next, prick." All the stories check out, no foul play. Olga tells the cops she met Dawn a few weeks ago, but never went in the house. The bar backs up her story, never a suspect. The coroner rules death from natural causes. The coroner is Buddy from the gas station.